Well, hey, gang, welcome to another Power Agent Success Series. I have Traci Palmero on the call. Hi, Trace. How are you?
Hi, Daryl. Great. How are you?
I am I am so excited because of what you just told me before we went to record. Let me just share everybody what I'm talking about. First of all, I do want to give your contact information. So you're with Remax Best Choice. Why don't you tell everybody, Traci, how to get in touch with you, find you, stalk you? No.
Stalk me.
Yeah.
My name is Traci Palmero. I'm with Remax Best Choice. In some circles, I'm known as Traci from the Lou. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I've lived here about 25 years. So my taproot is very, very deep right now in St. Louis. Today's my anniversary of being a realtor, 7-year anniversary, all of them with Remax. So hashtag Remax. You can reach me at 314-803-6245. I am happy to share with my fellow Power Agent members anything that you have questions about. I'm happy to share. My website is www.realestatepro. That's REALEST, the number 8 PRO, Real Estate Pro. And with me, it's personal.
That's awesome, Traci. Thank you. Now we're going to get into we got a bunch of questions and we're going to chit chat and see where the direction goes. But what I really want to hear, what I want to start by sharing, just so it gives some context, like your experience and your knowledge. We were talking that this is your 7th year, but you just last year, just a few months ago, you closed out with gross commissions in the amount of $571,000.
Yes.
So, which is awesome and incredible. But the reason why I want to share that for people to hear that, I mean, that's a lot of business. That's a lot of revenue. And and you've only been doing it 7 years.
That's right. And
go ahead.
And also a very important point too is our price points here in St. Louis are pretty low compared to a lot of areas in the country. So that 571,000 comes from 87 transaction sites.
Wow, 87 transaction size. All right. So so let's start with this now, because the majority of power agents or just agents in general, they're so far maybe from that level of production. That puts you at a certain level. So was your parents a realtor? Like, how did you get started? What was your first year? First question, I guess, is what did you do before real estate? Why did you get into real estate? And then we'll talk about your first year.
Okay. So I come from a business perspective. I ran a family company for 16 years. And with the economic downfall in 2008 to 2010, we lost our company. Or I should say it was taken away from us. We had more business than we knew what to do with. And there's a long story behind it, but it was something that taught me a lot about business and a lot about tracking my ROI and staying ahead of the game. So after that, I was a global sales manager for a cosmetics company. And I woke up at 50 years old in Guangzhou, China, and I said, I'm done. I'm done with traveling 2 or 3 weeks out of every month. And I'm done with selling products that weren't purposeful, but they didn't mean anything to the end consumer. And I kept coming back to my days running my family business were very purposeful, but selling products made in China that really, honestly, nobody really needs, not so purposeful. So when I decided that that was it for me, I knew that in my soul, I needed to go and do something that was purposeful, something that mattered to people. And so I kept coming back to real estate. So I started real estate in March of 2015 and have not looked back. It has been an incredible journey. I've met some ridiculously amazing people. My best sale ever was a $30,000 house for an 82-year-old man that had never owned his own home. And he literally cried at the closing table. So that is the kind of thing that matters. You know, this is largely the biggest investment that people are going to make, and they should have a trusted mentor and someone who takes their business very seriously to guide them through this process and help them understand it.
Well, I've got to tell you something. What you just shared, like, we could end this conversation right now. I swear to you, because there were so many things that you just said, and the way you said it, that was the secret sauce, that it was you wanted to make a difference, and real estate is the tool that you've chosen to be the vehicle to make a difference. And you can see your passion, you can see the love for what you do and the difference that you make. And that's the secret sauce right there.
It is. The why is so important, because the why is the thing that gets you up in the morning. The why is the thing that helps you over the bumps in the road. The why is the thing that will secure your future. And my why is purposefulness. I need to feel that what I'm doing matters to people. And this is an excellent way to do that.
Okay. And now, does it matter? Just curiosity for me is, what was the family business?
So we had a manufacturing company. We manufactured nail care products.
Okay.
And probably a lot of products that our fellow Power Agent members have used, that were developed in our little company. And we had 2 manufacturing facilities. We employed 68 people in the local area here, and bought all of our raw components from the greater St. Louis area, except for one. And so for us, it was definitely a family business that went outside of our family. Everyone that worked for us was family.
Okay. So, and that was some of the other awesome things that you said in that whole opening share, was that number one is that you came from a business mentality to begin with. So that's key for real estate professional, is to not look at yourself as a sales person, but as a business person.
Correct.
So you having that skill set already put you at an advantage in the real estate
Absolutely.
industry.
I think that a lot of people get into real estate feeling that A, it's fast money, B, I love houses and I just want to open doors and woohoo, sell houses to people. You really need to be able to track what you're doing. You really need to understand the return on your investment. You need to be smart about how you spend your money. All of it matters, to you personally, in the building of your own personal generational equity. So addressing it like a business is definitely the best way. You can't go about it saying, everybody knows me, everybody will buy a house from me. Well, everybody knows a dozen realtors. So you just really have to focus on setting yourself apart. And I've done a pretty good job with that, with social media and with my nose to nose, toes to toes conversations with people. They immediately recognize that I'm someone that has taken the extra steps, the extra training to really know what I'm talking about. And so the know, like, trust thing, it happens pretty easily for me.
Great. This is so awesome. Okay. I'm so excited. All right. Now, the other thing that you said too, that without highlighting dates or age, because I know how we all feel about that, but hey, you've been doing this 7 years. You basically later on in your life, you reinvented yourself coming into real estate. That's right. So that I want people to hear that, because we have some power ages there, they're mature in years. They got seasoned, right? Experienced. They have to come to real estate because financially they might have lost, they might have gotten hurt somewhere financially, and they have to get their finances in order. And and this is what you did. I mean, you lost the family business. You're doing all that traveling. That's not working for you. So anyway, this is an inspiring story. I'm getting chills. All right, now let's talk about your first year. Was it easy? Was it hard? Was it a struggle?
So my first year, because I had traveled so much in my previous life, it was almost like I moved to this area as a new resident. I had some connections that were minor acquaintances, and that was it. I knew a few people from my kids playing ball, but we didn't develop really, big relationships because I wasn't ever around. Mm-hmm. So the way that I jumped into it was of the mindset, how can I help people associate me with I'm in real estate now? And so what I jumped into immediately was farming. I picked 6 subdivisions in my town and started hosting subdivision purge parties.
Subdivision what parties?
Purge parties.
Purge?
Subdivision yard sales.
Yard sale, so okay.
Purge it from your house, and a lot of people are doing it, so it's a party. It's a purge party.
I got it. Okay. Actually, I've never heard it called that. And I've been doing this a while. I love it. Okay.
The police called on me once or twice just because of the name, but I digress.
I'm not going to touch that. We're going to go in the wrong direction if I do. All right. So this is good. So you're going to, by the way, I just want to highlight something that you said and that is, you ask yourself, you want to know how people can know what you do for a living, which that is what we tell power agents, as the definition of self-promotion, have people know your name, your face, and what you do for a living. That's right. This is great. So you did the purge party. So you started with that. How did that go?
So every year I have done a spring and a fall subdivision purge party with my 6 subdivisions, and it has grown and evolved over the years. To be more efficient, to allow me the opportunity to collect names from the people who are shopping, to create a system where I have 5 touches with each person that's actually selling in their garage. And so in one of those 6 subdivisions, I have 78% of the home selling business. In another one, I have 62%. Again, if you don't track it, you don't know it. And then in another, I have 48%, 42%. I think my lowest 2 are something like 14% and 12%. So even those ones are generating income and generating, oh my gosh, I see you everywhere, because they do, So I'm giving back to my community. I'm serving these people without asking them for business. And the business just comes to me then at that point, because they recognize me and they see that I've served them, and they want to reward me for the service that I've done.
These percentages that you just said, right? Knowing those percentages, this one is 60 someone, this one is 12. Does that, do you make decisions based on those numbers?
So on occasion, I do make decisions based on those numbers. The subdivision that I have only a 12 actually has 820 homes in it. So that's still not a bad return on that investment. And again, tracking what my budget is for each one of these yard sales, which my budget is $1,000 for each one of these purge parties. And that includes advertising, that includes signage, that includes, I give away $100, crisp $100 bill to one lucky shopper each of the 6 weeks. So they're happy to give me their contact information because they want to win $100. And now they literally follow me and they text me and they'll call me and they'll carry the ad that I ran last fall in their car with them until the spring. And then they'll start contacting me, when's the next purge party? So these people will also refer me to people that they know that are buying and selling, just because I have conversations with pretty much every shopper that comes in to shop at the yard sales. And what do we know about a lot of people that are having a yard sale? They're purging it so they can sell their house.
Amen. There's something I want people to, as they're listening, to just highlight for them, is to recognize the business mentality you have. You said, okay, I want to have people know my name, face, what I'm going to do for a living. So I pick 6, not 5, not 10, not something, but 6 strategic places. And you know how many houses are in each one, and you know what your percentage is now. That's what a business person does, right? They know the numbers. They know where the revenue is coming from. They invest and expect a return on the investment.
That's
How
right.
do you get people to sign up? So you've got these houses. How do you get them to opt in to be part of your surge event?
Okay, so when I
event.
very first started farming these 6 subdivisions, I went into Facebook and I created a closed group just for that subdivision. I posted 5, 6, 7 articles, items of interest, items of value. And then I posted about this subdivision yard sale. And at the time I called it a yard sale. And then I went around and door knocked and put hangers on each door that said, hey, did you know that we have a closed Facebook group just for this community? It's for you to share ideas, to let everybody know that, hey, this puppy came to my door. Does it belong to a neighbor? You know, and honestly, to just grow the community feeling. And the way that I got my information out there was door knocking. And I've only done it a couple of times. Actually, magically, the best time to door knock, believe it or not, is when it's snowing. Everybody wants to have a conversation about why you are out there door knocking in the snow, but then they realize how important your business is to you, that you would be out in the weather to door knock and share this information with me. So I welcome on that community page, I welcome new residents to the community. I say, hey, we say bye-bye to Carol and Denny. We're going to miss them. But, you know, Paul and Marianne just moved in to, you know, 123 Easy Street. And I'd love it if you guys just stop by and gave them a quick hi, you know?
Wow.
And so what I'm doing is I'm encouraging people to find their micro community of Festus as a community that they really care about. And with that comes neighbors naturally looking out for each other and just naturally being closer.
Okay, this is awesome. Now it really is. I'm going to tell you something as a side, just what I'm thinking about. You got to write a book. You really should. You know, you really should. You should say how I went from 0 to 500 plus thousand or number of deals in 7 years, and go and write year 1, year 2, year 3. This is what you did each year. I'm going to try and capture as much as I can in our short time, but this is exciting. And I'm all right. So now all right. So what's my next question? Oh, right now, how many mailing pieces would you say you're sending out, and how often do you send them out?
So very interesting question, because that has kind of changed since last September. Can I get really real with you here for just a second?
That's what we do here.
Okay, cool. Last year was arguably the most difficult year in real estate. And I think that anyone that's been in this business for, you know, a dozen years, 20 years, 30 years would agree that last year was the most difficult year. We worked 5 or 6 times harder to get a buyer contract accepted. We worked so much harder just to get a listing, you know, when the sellers didn't feel that they had anywhere to go when their house sold in 4 hours. We worked really, really hard. And last year I had an epiphany that literally was not pretty, you know. It was a road rage. I'm sitting at a red light and the guy in front of me didn't go when it turned green, and I laid on the horn like, I'm going to push you through that light if you don't go. And that's not me. So I knew something was up, and I knew I needed to make a change. Canceled all my appointments for that day, had a massive jug of wine in my pool, and tried to just kind of figure out, okay, where am I and what is causing this feeling? What I came away with is that I had been carrying everything in my head. I had been carrying all of the emotions of my clients, the buyers that had been punched in the face several times. I had been carrying all this anxiety from my clients on my shoulders. And I wasn't providing a solution to them that alleviated that anxiety for them or for me. And so, you know, with every contract that we didn't win, and every listing appointment, well, we're going to wait another month, we're going to wait another 2 months. Every single one caused more anxiety for me and more frustration that I couldn't get through to people what they needed to do to be successful. So it dawned on me that I can't hold everything in my head. I can't keep it all inside. I need to be leveraging some things. And of course, my broker had told me for the last 4 years that I needed an assistant. So I hired an assistant in September, and she's been, I mean, a godsend. She's been fantastic. And so with that, I've been able to get some of this creative anxiety, the things that I've forever wanted to do for my clients, the things that I've forever wanted to set up in my systems. I've been able to affect a lot of those things just by hiring an assistant.
Okay.
So gosh, it just opened up the world of possibility for me. And
now, hang on a second, Traci. So up until September, this past September, you didn't have an assistant?
Correct.
Wait a second. So you were doing all, I mean, I don't know your production levels, obviously, maybe if it was a 570 last, like the years before.
It was 502 the year before.
Okay. All right. There you go. So you did 500, almost $500,000 in commissions with no team.
No team.
Okay.
No. And
thank God for the wine.
I'm a workaholic.
Yeah.
and wine became my very good friend, sadly. But I have not had a drink since just after New Year's this year. So, and I'm down 23 pounds and feel great and loads of energy. And I'm happy in my skin for a lot of reasons. You know, I have aligned my business in a smart way. I have aligned my personal life. This is the year of Traci. Woo, woo. And, you know, so I'm taking care of self-care as well. And a lot of that was getting it out of my head and turning it into a system. So it's creating the videos that say, welcome to this edition of Things I'm Always Asked, you know, so it's the videos now that they can find on YouTube that I can send to them as we go through the process of, you know, selling the home to close, or, you know, coming soon to closed, or just the process of where do I start to buy my own house, you know? So a lot of that has come to fruition. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. And all you new agents and even those that are seasoned agents that are afraid of video, I promise you that when your hair looks like this, it looks like that to everyone. And it really doesn't matter. They don't care. They just want to hear the authentic, genuine you. And that's when they know, like, and trust you, and they'll do business with you every time.
That's great, Trace. All right. So now let's go back to the mailing question. So
mailing. So, okay. Yes. I'm sorry. I did kind of veer off.
No, it was an incredible veer. You keep veering whenever you want, because gold's coming out of your mouth. So I'm sitting here in the back seat while you drive the car. It's good.
So mailings, okay. One quick aside. I never took care of any of my past clients for 6.5 years. Okay. First thing that I would tell any agent, love on your CRM as much as you love on yourself, your family, and your clients. Okay. No one told me that when I started. And now I have over 450 client families. And it's like, how do you love on 450 people? Well, you've got, how do you eat an elephant? You bite it, you know, little bites, right? So what I did was I boiled my entire client list into my top 50. Okay. And I started off as my top 50 people that I made the most money with. That's not necessarily my top 50. My top 50 need to be the top 50 people who are in my heart. The people that I would love to have a conversation for an hour with once a month, right? Those are my top 50. My A clients are the people who refer me, the people who are my woo-woo raving fans. You know, so then it becomes a little bit easier, because when I was first, you know, given this idea from some absolutely brilliant agents, I didn't know where to start. You know, how do I determine that somebody's an A client versus a B client? You know, I mean, they're just clients, right? Right. But you have to bite little bites. Otherwise, you will never do it. Done is better than done perfectly, right? So I started loving on my past clients last September when I hired Nicole, my assistant. And again, she has unleashed the Kraken. Okay. My creativity Kraken is like boom, boom, boom. And so we immediately, the very first week that she started, I said, okay, first thing you have to do is you have to unscrew my database. Okay. Because I don't know where anybody is. They're here, they're there, they're in SkySlope transaction management. They're, in this Excel spreadsheet, they're in this CRM program that I bought for 4 months, and they're all over the place. So we need to hone that in so that we have a usable list. From that, we then went into, what are we going to do with this usable list? How are we going to communicate with them? What are we going to do? And I determined that my goal was to love on them. They loved on me for a period of time. I made a lot of money working with them for a period of time. We developed a relationship. I just didn't nurture it very well. So our mailings became, hey, congratulations to the Palmero home team. We have hired an assistant, a post-transaction client care coordinator.
Client care coordinator. I like that term.
Yes, okay, a post-transaction client care coordinator. So if you think about that funnel that we all know about in sales, okay, you dump some money in here and you hope that it works its way down to the bottom of the funnel when they transact. Well, the reality is that's when you love on them with your information, with your technology, with your confidence, and get them to know, like, and trust you. All that doesn't need to cost a lot, right? Okay. And then to love on them afterwards, it's kind of like feeding them after the transaction with your love and your appreciation and your gratitude. So what we decided to do was every other month, we're going to mail something. Every other month, we're going to have a client appreciation event. Okay. Now, they don't need to be huge. They don't need to be, wildly costly. They just need to get together some of your clients who can love on you together with other clients so that their feelings for you are validated. Right?
Love it. Yep.
So once clients get together and they talk about their experience with you, it solidifies in their mind that when they know somebody, they're going to refer you.
Right.
So our first event was mailing batteries for daylight savings time. Okay. Again, to top 50 and A clients. Did it cost some money? Sure, it cost some money, but it was well worth it. I got dozens of phone calls from past clients that were like, oh my gosh, we were literally just talking about you last week. Wow. Or how wonderful that you thought of us and our safety, our home safety, to gift us these 2 batteries. I sent 2 9-volt batteries and, a letter that said, hey, the market's super hot. Don't let your house get too hot. Be sure to change out your batteries, right?
I love it.
Thank you. Then in October, anyone that had bought a house since Halloween the year before through Halloween last year, I went and bought boxes of full-size candy bars and Halloween cards. And these are just for the buyers that bought. And I put a note in it that said, when I was a kid, the coolest houses in the neighborhood gave away full-size candy bars on Halloween. Congratulations, you're officially a cool house. So when I delivered those,
that's great too. That's great too. Yeah, listen, I just thought of a second book. You've got to write like marketing ideas and slogans. I love it. Okay, go ahead.
So what I did was I took selfies with my people holding their box that said, I'm a cool house, and I put together a video of all the cool houses that I had sold in the last year. So these are just buyers that bought houses. They're handing out full-size candy bars on Halloween, or they're eating them in advance. I don't care. The message was, you are a cool house. Right. You own a cool house now because you worked with me.
Right.
So then, of course, I jump into everything like head first, and then I think about it later. As a quick aside, after every event, y'all need to do an after action report. That's what they call it in the military. Okay. We did this drill, And afterwards, we boil it all down to what worked, what didn't work, what did we do in advance, how soon did we do it in advance, what did we budget, what was our actual budget? Again, creating it like a business, right?
Right.
So you set your budget, you know exactly what it's going to cost you. So that way, when you get business from it, you can say that event netted me X amount of dollars of profit. Okay, super important. Profit, super important. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep, of course. It is for business.
Of course. So in November, I had the wild idea of having portraits in the park. We're very fortunate here in Festus, Missouri, actually in Hillsboro, right next door, to have a National Historic covered bridge. And so it's literally 15 minutes from my house. Okay. So we invited again, all of my top 50 MIA clients. And one of my past clients is a wedding and portrait photographer. So I hired her to come and do portraits of people, families. You could bring your dog. I set up some light appetizers, might have had an adult beverage or two available. And we had a bale of hay for them to sit on. She was amazing. She knew exactly how to place them and the whole deal. I got 4 Christmas cards the first week of December with that photo on it. They used it for their Christmas cards. So again, after action report, we're going to have this event in the middle of October. We're going to decorate a tree at a Christmas tree farm and have a big chair and hire a Santa for pictures with Santa for their Christmas cards. Right?
Right. That's brilliant.
I got 4 deals from having portraits in the park. So, you know, it's just, you love on them and they want to love on you back. So I feel like, you know, they would have loved on me anyway. They would have called me anyway, but maybe not, because I hadn't loved on them. I hadn't kept in constant communication. I hadn't stayed top of mind with them in 6.5 years. So, you know, this literally works. December, Christmas cards to every single past client, every single one. Okay. That was very time consuming, and my assistant was amazing in keeping me on task. So every day I hand wrote, happy holidays. May your new year be, you know, happy, healthy, and prosperous. If I can help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out, Traci. I wrote that to almost 400 people, well, over 400 people. Wow. And she set out 25 cards for me every single day, starting in the middle of October. So she developed the system and the plan for me to execute and be able to get it done. There you go. We had Santa in the office. I gave away Thanksgiving pies to just my top 50 clients, and I had 27 clients come and take, you know, have a drink and some snacks and take their pie and talk to each other. Getting them together is magical.
I can see why it's magical, because like you said, they're loving on you. But what happens is that if somebody likes Traci, they had a good experience, and then they see another one of your clients and they share how great you are, it basically solidifies that person's feelings about you, and it just expands even more. That you know what I loved about what you said is that you love on them.
Yes.
Because that is the biggest problem that agents have. One of the biggest problems is like, you know, I sold these people a house, or they bought a house from me and they want to list with somebody else. How come? I don't understand. Well, maybe because you didn't love on them, right? So
didn't love on them enough. Yeah, they didn't feel that they were the center of your universe. So for that 30 to 45 days with a seller, or for that, you know, 3 months with a buyer, 6 months these days with a buyer, they're the center of my universe when I'm with them. You know, we talk about their pets, we talk about their kids, we talk about what they did last weekend, and just have real, genuine human conversation. not just about buying and selling houses.
I'm having an epiphany here, Traci, talking to you because somehow some agents try to love on people is by giving them free advice in real estate or doing work for them or giving them information about you need a contract. Like they're giving this free stuff, like let's say to a FISBO or something, and they're trying to win the business by giving free work essentially. That's not loving, that's actually devaluing you because you're doing the work aspect for free. Whereas what you're doing is not the work stuff for free. You're just connecting with another human being by giving nice, but then there's the work part of things as well. So when it comes time to work, I charge what I charge, I run a business. So there's almost a real distinction between the loving and human beingness of the relationship and the business. The business is the business. Is that
it's right? A different hat that you wear.
Yeah.
It's a different hat. So as we approach a house together, a buyer and I, we're having just everyday, friend conversation. When we get in the house, my realtor hat comes on, and because we're friends outside, they feel that they can ask me anything once we're inside. Well, what do you think about that crack in the foundation? What do you think about, the flow of this house? And I'm an open book. I'll tell them, from the standpoint of how your family would use this space, does it work for you? My job's not to talk you into or out of a house. My job is to help you realize, is this the right house? Right? And now, how you use your space.
How many of these love-ins, I was going to call them events, but I'm going to call them love-ins. Okay. The little gifts that you do and how many times a year would you do this? It sounds like it's your top 50 and your A people, right? So not
typically, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So how often would you say?
So all clients get the Christmas card. All clients are going to get something in the spring. All of them. Okay. So that's 2 mailings to my entire past sphere. The way that I started this, I jumped in with both feet because I hadn't loved on them at all in 6.5 years. Okay. So my schedule for this year, we are scheduled all the way out through the end of December for this year. Okay. And it's every other month a client event. Every other month gives me the opportunity to, hey, did you get the note that we've got, the luau party in June? I will call these clients in May. It gives me a reason to call them, So they get Facebook invited, they get texted with a bomb video. Hey, it's Traci. I just want to give a personal invitation for you to come to our luau pool party, bring the kids. We're going to have brats and hot dogs. We're going to, Right. So the bomb video is fantastic because now I am personally inviting them right there in their space. Right. So you have to invite several times, but you also have to call. If you haven't heard from them, it gives you that reason to call. Gives you the reason. So it makes it really easy to make a call to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while.
All right. So now, I forgot. So when I said how many times you're doing these love-ins and stuff, you really just started because you said before, and I disconnected on it.
September.
That for 6.5 years you haven't. So, but you still, okay. So now, okay. So you built this business and it hasn't really based on a strategy of referrals because you only just had the epiphany now because you've got this miracle worker that you hired that's helping you be creative and keep you on desk. I love everything you're saying. So, but what you did do, I'm guessing, is how you built your business was based on those 6 geographic farm areas and working that kind of became the referral mechanism, if you will, because you zoned in on these areas. Am I right?
So that was a big part of it. So I would say that was one pillar of my business was my farming activity. Okay. And the communications with all of those residents, which is a total of 1,378 residents, homes in these 6 subdivisions. So I was regularly communicating through the Facebook group with that subdivision, but then they know people who live outside of their subdivision too. So they would refer me to people outside of the subdivision. but also I know that my strength is nose to nose, toes to toes with people who can sign stuff. So any opportunity that I have to do an event in my community, we loved on the teachers for Teacher Appreciation Day back in the fall. I went and got bagels and coffee from Bread Co., St. Louis Bread Company, Panera Bread, and took it to each of the 4 schools in the community that I live in. And I did that specifically because those teachers largely live in those 6 subdivisions. So now they're feeling my appreciation through the community page. They're also feeling it in person, and then they're talking about it amongst themselves in the lunchroom or whatever.
Gotcha.
So I'm a big proponent of community activities. So I do the Twin City Days, where Crystal City and Festus, they get together and they share Main Street, and they shut down Main Street. And I'm out there jumping around with, all the kids and having a great time. I have a raffle. People want to give me their information. They want to talk about houses. They want to talk about, their dreams. Okay. I'm big on talking about dreams with people. I'm also one to ask people, tell me 3 things that you hate about your house. And they're like, hate about my house? Well, I hate that my kitchen's too small. I hate that my deck is falling down and needs to be replaced. And I hate my neighbors. Okay, well, I can't really help you with your neighbors so much. Your kitchen's a pretty big job, but I've got a great deck guy. Can I share his contact information with you? And they're like, sure. So, okay, give me your, you know what? Why don't I send you my contact information? You respond back with, hey, send me your deck guy. And then now we're communicating.
Right.
What do you know about somebody that has 3 things they hate about their house? They're going to sell their house someday.
Right.
It's a strong word.
That I love that question. What are the 3 things? Now, if it was New York, if you said the neighbor in New York, I can fix that too. But we can't talk about that.
But if you ask them, it's all in how you communicate with them. It's what you ask them and how you ask them. And the same happens, through a listing conversation or a buyer consultation. How you say things really does matter. If I ask those same people, tell me 3 things you love about your house, I'm not learning anything about them. I'm not understanding their pain points. Right. If people hate 3 things about their house, they're going to sell their house. Don't be a secret agent. Always wear your badge, wear it proudly.
And I want to tell people before we went on camera recording, Traci, what she did, the camera was kind of up and was cutting off her company. It was like that. And so she right away, because she's always promoting, marketing. Awesome. Always. That's what you have to do. Have people know your name.
Don't ever be a secret agent.
That's right. Okay. So let's talk about this first year.
Okay.
How was it for you? Was it easy? Did you succeed pretty quick your first year or no? How was it?
So my first 9 months, my GCI was 79,000. So right out of the gate, I hit executive level with Remax. So that was inspiring to me that, hey, I can do this. I did that in 9 months. So I set my goals. You have to set goals so you don't know what you're working toward. So I set my goals to make the 100% club, which is 100,000 in GCI, which I did my first full year. My second full year, I just shy of platinum, which is 250. My third year, I did hit platinum just by a little. I kind of I had challenges. My 4th full year platinum, 5th and 6th, and now 7th chairman. So
awesome.
It grows steadily. And fortunately, as your business continues, you have more and more people that you can love on genuinely, and authentically, and they will love back on you. So I'm starting to have a very robust referral pillar of business with my past clients. Literally last year, I just started building my pillar of referral business with other agents across the country. And that has been very successful. Last year, I did just shy of 60,000 in GCI just from referrals from agents across the country.
Wow.
And I paid out about 22,000 in referrals. So again, this is a relationship business, right? So you build that relationship with every single realtor that you do business with. You meet them for coffee. You find out who they are. You go and stalk them a little bit and find out who they are, what matters to them, and the transaction will go much smoother. And you know, the same thing, like when I go to convention for RE/MAX, I go there now with intentionality. And that's a big part of business, is the intentionality with which you operate, right? So it's developing that goal. How am I going to get there? What does it look like from a business standpoint? What can I do to affect this thing to boost it so that every year I'm boosting it up a little bit? So I look at my ROI on everything that I do, everything.
You know, that's that intentionality, and what you said earlier about, what's that military term? After an event, you do what?
After action report.
After action report.
Yep.
By the way, why do you know this military thing?
My husband was in the military.
Okay. Yep. So though they're both kind of the same, the intentionality, because what you're doing is not doing things by accident, right? You're doing it on purpose, right?
Well, I do a lot of things by accident and they become on purpose afterwards. But for the most part, when I plan things out, I plan them with intentionality. And I figure out how I'm going to get to that goal, achieve that goal. And then I work backwards, you know? So at the end of the year, if I want to have a goal of 100 units sold, that means X number per month. That means X number per week. And so those are little bites that are easy, little wins that are easy to understand. And it's also very easy to track when you're behind. So you can't pivot and adjust and make up for time if you don't know what the time is that's lost. So you have to track everything.
You know, and just for people when they start to implement, because I know power agents watching this, they're going to say, oh, I'm going to use this, I want to try that, and which is great. And they should do that post-event action.
Yeah, after action report.
After action report, because I mean, I didn't know there was a name for it. We do that in our company when we do our live events, and we'll say, okay, what worked about this event, bada bing, bada bing, what didn't work, bada bada bada, and what are we going to do next time? So that way, because our events, we do them very sparingly once a year. So a year later, I don't have to try and
remember. How do you remember?
Right, exactly. So awesome. Okay. That first year, Traci.
Yes.
So is it safe to say that you worked super hard, a lot of hours, and was there any challenge in that, like whether it was with personal, family, money, whatever?
So I think, and this is actually a conversation that I just had with the vice president of strategy at RE/MAX just last week at our convention. Women in this business have a different set of challenges than men in this business. We naturally are multitaskers. We naturally are more emotionally connected with our clients, with our family, with the things that need to be done. We take it very, very personally if we don't get something done, right? So I feel like a huge component of the challenges that I felt the first year potentially were that I'm a female, you know, and a middle-aged female, you know, going into this business that is a time suck if you let it be. And I allowed it to be a time suck my first couple of years, completely honest here. I probably worked 60 to 70 hours a week my first couple of years. We did take a vacation, but the whole time that I was on vacation, I was stressed and worried about, you know, how can my clients possibly survive without me, you know, because I didn't understand how to have regular business hours with a position like this, with a career like this. It's something that, as a natural nurturer, especially in a market like this. So, kudos to all you young moms that are out there trying to do this business. I bow down to you, because I didn't do that. I didn't do this job when I had littles. And I think that challenge is very, very real. And I think by planning your day, planning your week, making time for your family and your loved ones and for self-care is super important. And again, I say this is the year of Traci, right? Because it's been a challenge that I struggle with, because I'm a workaholic. Right. When I wake up in the middle of the night, it's business, business, business. And it is something that I struggle with all the time. But what has helped me tremendously is plan my day so that I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing during different portions of my day. And so I can spend time at the nail salon, or I can go and get a facial, or I can do something for self-care, so that I don't feel that I'm always serving others and never serving myself or my family.
Yeah, that's such awesome share that you just did, because well, yeah, because I never thought of it. It is different for women in real estate, and probably harder, because there is that instinctive nurturing, caring piece that I believe all women have. And so it's also a double-edged sword, because if you're caring about your clients and you don't want to not be there for them, at the same time, then you have your family or the kids, and you're feeling that pull as well. So there's always that conflict and somehow a loss that somebody's hurting because you're not there for them.
Right.
And I totally can get that. So, and that's why it's important that you do take care of yourself, because you'll burn yourself out.
Correct.
Just because of that.
Yep.
That anxiety of always trying to please
and
everybody.
That's literally what happened with me last summer. I literally burned out. I seriously considered getting out of real estate, because I was just, I had it. And I'm thankful that I had the realization that what was really happening is I was keeping too much in here. And so like nobody could pick up where I left off if they had to, and so it dawned on me that I could feel a sense of relief in leveraging out, even if it was just leveraging it onto a calendar or leveraging it onto a system of what my day really should look like to be the most productive. And in order to determine what your day looks like, you really have to know, what does a productive or successful day mean to you? Is it determined by, I got an accepted contract? No, not always. Is it, I got to love on or talk to, 5 of my past clients that I absolutely adore? Is it that I got to spend 2 hours at the gym listening to Daryl Davis webinar that he had yesterday that I couldn't watch on that time because I was serving another client? What makes for a productive, successful day? And give yourself some grace and some opportunity to experience those little wins, because it'll keep you sane.
Yeah. And that was very profound too, what you just said about, well, no, leveraging, because of that caring about your clients, that using a system like, let's say, even a CRM, to help leverage that emotional need that you feel like, well, at least I took care of my client by putting them into this system.
That's
they're
right.
going to get an email, or they're going to get a mail. Little wins like that. Oh, that's great. That's very profound. Very profound.
Another book I should write.
I'm telling you, listen, and you know what? I know that you have a list of things that you probably wanted to go over. We're like at our time now. We're gonna have to.
I know, gosh.
Can we do this again?
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Good.
I love sharing. So again, I want to invite any of the power members. We didn't get to talk about like some of the nuggets that I use from Daryl Davis that I have carried with me since we met 6 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Here in St. Louis. Some nuggets that I use every single time. My listing conversation is the same every single time. I talk about the shiny penny. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you want your house to be the shiny penny. You know, when there's a pile of pennies on the table, the one that stands out is the shiny penny. We want that to be your house. That's how you get top dollar, right? You don't have to necessarily go in and pay a lot of money for staging and this, that, and the other. If your house is clean, if your house is well kept and in good repair, if your garden out front is welcoming, you know, all these things help your house be a shiny penny. Another one that I use, just because I'm loving on Daryl right now, is
go ahead. Well, I think we can extend this a few extra minutes to love on Daryl and the power program. Go ahead.
Is that I'm the director of the musical of the sale of your home, right? Everyone talks to the director. Makeup doesn't talk to costumes. Costumes doesn't talk to the orchestra guy. Orchestra guy doesn't talk to, you know, stage builders, right? But they all talk to the director. This is an objection handling technique here for why you should get that amount of commission, not a discount amount of commission, because I am the director of the musical of The Johnson's House Sold in St. Louis. Right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. Metaphors and analogies, the director. I'm so happy.
Bomb.com. I mean, seriously, it's so easy because they get it when you put it to them in everyday words and terminology that they understand. If you start talking escrow and you start talking appraisal and you start, no, whoop, whoop, they're gone.
Right.
You talk to them in terminology and in scenarios that they understand. Anybody can bake a cake out of a box, but are you going to do that for your daughter's wedding? No, because it's a special occasion and you want a specialist to create that masterpiece. I'm your baker. I'm baking the masterpiece of your house selling for top dollar. Boom. Super easy.
I totally forgot about that analogy, the baker's one about out of the box versus
out of the box.
A professional.
I use it all the time.
That is one of my favorites. I'm so glad. I totally forgot about that one. That's a great one too.
It is.
Now, listen, just so everybody understands that's watching this, if they're a new power agent, what Traci's highlighting is the power of using stories, metaphors, and analogies versus memorized scripts. That way you can use your own words, you can talk from your heart. So like the director's technique on how you did that, right? So that's an example. Anybody could probably go do that now, but they'll use their own version of it, their own words. But yeah,
and
awesome.
You should. And you should, because then it comes from the heart.
Exactly.
You know, so my listing conversations always start the same way, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Thank you so much for inviting me to your beautiful home and to talk about the sale of your home. Before we get started, though, I want you to know that I don't take a listing just for the sake of having a listing. It's important to me to understand what you're doing, what your goals are, how fast you want to move and things like that, and that we can work together to get the job done. Okay? Okay, now all of a sudden, they don't think I'm just trying to collect a big, giant, fat commission check, right? I really care about where they're going and what their goals are.
You're fine right out the gate. You're finding out what they're committed to accomplishing because that's your job, is to help them get to their next level. But you can't help them get to the next level if you don't know what it is.
That's right.
That's why you asked that. Yes, perfect.
Yep.
You're such a good power agent. You are. All right. Well, listen, we're going to do this again. We're going to do another session because I know you have more
notes, Daryl.
Oh my God! Look at all those notes.
No, I'm only no. I truly mean it when I say to the power agents out there, I am happy to spill and share with you. I am happy to have a conversation with you. You can text me at 314-803-6245. Texting is the best way. If I'm with a client, you'll get a quick note that says, hey, I'm with a client, I'll call you back. Send me a quick note that says, hey, I'm a power agent and I got a question for you. I would be happy to help. I'm an open book because I feel like the more that I can share about what has worked for me, I'm rising by lifting, right? So I want the entire profession to be risen. And if I can help in any way, I'm happy to do it.
That's awesome, Trace. Thank you. So this was one of my favorite interviews. It really was. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so stay right there. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody so we can end it, but you stay right there. So, gang, there you go. Power Agents. Traci just shared so much. So, implement just a couple of things, and you will be successful. Thanks again, Traci, so much for this. I appreciate you. We love you. And
always
everybody,
a pleasure to see you.
Oh, yeah, you're awesome. All right, so everybody, stay safe, stay focused, and don't forget to keep smiling.